Hello everybody and welcome to Toyah and Robert's Objects of Desire.
With one or two precious things for you.
So do you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is my mother's paper mache angel. This dear angel has had so many accidents. It sits on my desk and it gets knocked over, its head's been knocked off. It has so much tolerance as an object that I just want to say thank you to it. It's something I cannot part with. It, for me, has a tangible positive force in the room, even though it gets knocked off its perch all the time. It just sits on a shelf like that. And when I'm flailing my arms around doing interviews or filming, this gets knocked onto the floor and I keep having to stick its head back on. But it still has a tangible feeling of support come from it. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense to me.
So my other one, you bought me this on 42nd Street in New York.
48th Street.
Was it 48?
Which is, or was, it was the music street in town.
Yes, and we were staying with Trey Gunn, and you bought me this as my first practice guitar.
Yes, I did.
And it's a Minimax designed for children, but for my hands and my spread, it was absolutely perfect. It doesn't have a great sound, but is a really lovely practice guitar.
The intonation is a little bit suspect, but it is such a sweet little thing, and it's in scale with my wife, and it carries to my dear little wife.
Oh, well, I love it because...
The love I feel for her.
I love it because it came from you and it does symbolise our union in many, many ways, more than a wedding ring does.
Well, I hope...
Well, we don't wear our wedding rings.
I hope that my love is a little more in tune than this instrument.
And much better sound as well. So what have you got, Robert?
All right, I will begin. There are little stories here, but I will begin with this precious object, which is the original Tom Phillips artwork, which was on the back cover of King Crimson's Starless and Bible Black.
Is that the right way up?
I don't have my spectacles on. Does it say "This night wounds time"?
It does now. This night wounds time.
Now, some of our chums out there may know the story of Tom Phillips, wonderful artist born in 1937, who was Eno's art teacher at art college. And if you care to Google in a humorment, you will go to Tom Phillips' website where it says that Brian Eno was Tom Phillips' best student. And I was introduced by Eno to Tom Phillips' work because in 1966, Tom Phillips as a project bought a book, a cheap book called a Victorian, I've forgot the story now, a Victorian document, whatever. And what he would do, he was treat the individual pages of the book by collage, painting, cut-ups, montage, all manner of things, and generated pages and pages and several hundred of these treated pieces of work.
So was he defacing library books or?
It was a book I think he bought for threepence or sixpence.
Wow.
Yeah, and treated all these pages and it became very famous. This is the 2016 book of all the completed treated ahumiments, a Victorian document. And when Eno introduced me to them, all the different ones were published in these boxes, and if we open the boxes...
So he was reappropriating old books?
In one book, just one book, here is a humorment, Tom Phillips, explaining it all, and inside you have all these original artworks. It's astonishing.
Goodness, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 books.
Yeah, there's 6 collections, and bear in mind they're all in here in the 2016 edition. And how many pages are there, little lovey? Can you see?
Oh, there's a lot. Okay, and can people buy this online?
Yes, you can go to Amazon.
Okay, there's at least 370 pages.
Yeah, and you go online to Tom Phillips' website about this. Now, a very good man in Poole in Dorset about 4 years ago to support a charity, a children's hospice, was in touch with me, and he was selling this to raise money for the hospice. And I was his first call, and I was very happy to acquire the original crimson back cover artwork and make a donation to this excellent man for his hospice. Now, this in itself is a stunning story. However, if we recall that Brian Eno was Tom Phillips' best student, best pupil, and I was introduced to Tom Phillips by Brian Eno also introduced me to looping with two Revoxes, which became the basis of Fripp and Eno's No Pussyfooting and also Frippatronics. And one day in the 70s, I said to Brian, I'm going to work with these two Revoxes. How do these work together? And Brian drew me a diagram of how the two Revoxes worked together, and then you would attenuate and fiddle with the knobs to adjust the length of decay in the sound. And this is Brian's remarkable hand. Brian has a wonderful
It's absolutely glorious. So I later, in 1979, started working with a space looping machine, which was like an echo machine that had a tape loop within it. You didn't see the tape loop was within it, and I'm sure it's called Space Echo. Is this system that Brian Eno drew up for you, is that the origins of the Space Loop Space Echo machine?
I have no idea.
I bet it is.
But what I can say is, when Brian showed me the diagram of how to work the two machines together, I said, Brian, you've done yourself out of a job. And then solo Frippatronics. Fripp without Eno was born, and I set off on my own.
And you influenced all the right people, because No Pussyfooting, like the Velvet Underground, the right people bought that album.
Well, the ideas there is all down to Brian, although I did put in a few guitar notes. But anyway, there we are, lovey. Those are my precious things for this week.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I love about this and about hearing about Tom Phillips is that I've been married to Robert, how many years now? 36?
36.
And I'm still learning things off him that I have never heard about or seen before. I mean, I want all of this. I want that book. I want the collection. This is exactly what I love. I just keep learning about my husband every single day.
Well, good. That keeps our life rich, lovey.
So you've gone and let the cat out the bag now. You're going to have to hide these again, because I have never seen these. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you love, luck, health and happiness. Our prayers go out to the world. We send out hope to you, your loved ones, your family, and thank you for joining us. We love you.
In strange and uncertain times, a reasonable person might despair, but hope is unreasonable.
We will see you tomorrow for a Sunday lunch. Lots of love from Toyah.
And from Robert.